Hello and welcome back. In this session, we're going to talk about state management and how you can use it to help you study more effectively. But first, let me tell you a quick story. The other night, during dinner, my wife asked me to grab the ketchup from the cupboard. I told her that I'm sure I used the last of it the other night and I didn't think we had any. But being the good husband I am, I said I would check. So I got up, walked across to the cupboard, opened it, looked, and couldn't see any, so I told my wife that we didn't have any as I sat down. Well, Kaylee insisted that we did have some, so she got up, walked across to the exact same cupboard, opened it, and picked out the ketchup immediately. She then walked back to the table, proudly claiming, "I told you so." So why didn't I see the ketchup? Am I going blind? Or perhaps I just didn't want to get at her? More importantly, what has this got to do with studying Salesforce? Well, the thing is, we get what we focus on. So in that moment, I'd already told myself that we didn't have any ketchup, and because of that, I didn't see it. Now, I'm not saying that because I didn't think we had any, I went temporarily blind and couldn't see it. I'm just suggesting that because I was focused on us not having any ketchup, I didn't actually see it in the cupboard. So here's another example. Have you ever bought a new car and suddenly you see them everywhere? You see loads of them driving around, parked up, and you even see more of the adverts on TV and on your phone. Is that because since you bought one, everyone has, and there's suddenly a massive increase in the number of them around? It's not. It's because you've tuned your mind to see more of them. You notice more of them because subconsciously you're looking for them. There is a highly scientific explanation to this, which involves your reticular activating system, but that's a conversation for another day. So what does this have to do with your Salesforce study? Well, it's important that when you study, you do so with the right mindset, or state as I like to call it. If you enter your studies feeling frustrated, anxious, or in any other negative state, it's going to impact your study. You're going to find it hard to concentrate, and you're going to find everything more difficult. You'll miss things that normally you wouldn't, you'll take sloppy notes, and you won't really give it your full attention, which means you won't perform to the best of your ability. It's important to put yourself in the right state of mind when you study, so you can study effectively and efficiently. It's like when you have one of those days where everything goes right. It's like you have a golden touch and you can do no wrong. It might be that you hit every green light while you're driving, maybe the barista gives you a free muffin with your coffee, or you just look and feel great and everything seems to pan out in your favour. This is how I want you to feel when you study. I want you to be in a positive state with a positive outlook. Now, I know it sounds a bit weird, but I promise you, you'll feel so much better and learn so much faster and easier that once you've done it once, you'll do it every single time. When you're in a positive, empowering state, you feel more energized, you have more focus and concentration, and you perform better. So how do we do this? Well, it's pretty simple. Do something you really enjoy before you study, something that gives you energy. This doesn't have to be something that takes ages, it can just be a couple of minutes. For me, I put some music on for 5 to 10 minutes before a study session, and I get moving. I start bouncing and jumping around, dancing, and feeling that energy building inside of me. I'm not going to lie and tell you it's easy every single time, because it isn't. Sometimes it feels like the hardest part of studying is just getting going and putting myself in the right state. When I do feel like that, I tell myself that I'm just going to put one great song on, stand up and bounce on my toes for a few minutes. Once I've started, I quickly feel the difference and I start filling with energy, which then puts me in a great mood to tackle the session. So next time you have a study session, I want you to take 5 minutes, put 2 songs on that you really love and really motivate you and that make you feel great. And then I want you to go wild for a few minutes. No one is watching you, so no one will know. And even if they are, they'll just think you're a little mad, and we're all a little mad, aren't we? By the way, a personal recommendation I have for a couple of songs are Macklemore, Can't Hold Us, and AC/DC, Thunderstruck. If you don't feel like dancing, watch something that you find motivational or inspirational. The point is to put yourself in a great state of mind. So once you've put yourself in a great state, you need to protect it, you need to maintain it. And the best way to do that is to take regular breaks. Now, I'm a massive fan of the Pomodoro technique, which we'll talk more about in a later session. But at a high level, it's a technique where you study for a set amount of time, take a break, study again, take a break, etc. It's a way to keep your concentration high and to prevent yourself from entering autopilot and passive learning modes. The key part of this is to take regular breaks. Don't try and force yourself through a marathon 2 hour study session without a break. You'll find that your concentration will lapse, your energy will deplete, and you won't be as effective or efficient as you can be. Personally, I take a break every 50 minutes for 10 minutes, but I've worked up to that standard. I previously used to study for 25 minutes and then take a break for 5, but over time I was able to train my concentration and focus to last longer. When you take a break, take a break. I mean, get up, walk away from where you're studying, change your scenery, and do something that requires movement. That could be going and making a coffee, playing with the kids or the dogs for 5 minutes, even just putting another song on and jumping around. You've built your energy at the start of the session and you need to maintain it, so make sure you get moving and you keep that energy flowing. And the final part is to celebrate, to reward yourself once you've completed your study session. You need to rewire your brain to associate good feelings with studying, and one of the most powerful ways that you can do this is to give yourself a reward after you've completed a session. I don't mean anything extravagant like a new watch or car. I mean a cup of your favourite coffee or drink, your favourite snack, or anything else that you will find will keep you motivated and make you feel rewarded. Putting yourself in the right state of mind when studying is really important. It allows us to unlock cognitive potential that we can't when we're in a negative state. When we utilise this positive state, we can perform much better than we could normally. You've probably seen top sports people, singers, performers, or artists have a certain ritual before they enter the field or the stage. Some people brush it off as just habit or superstition, but the vast majority of top performers have tapped into this ability to put themselves in peak state. If it's good enough for them, then it's good enough for us. So now that we've covered the importance of state management, let's move on to our next session.